Come join me for some integration discussion, integration time. If maybe you've been expanding recently, maybe you've held a big project that you've never done before, and it's opening you up to more than you ever thought possible for yourself. And now you're like, what's next? What's next? And that's what I want to talk about. Why not press pause on what's next and stay where you are right now and integrate this expansion, integrate your experience. It's easy, and I'm going through this right now, so this is why I'm talking about it. It's really easy to think that you have to go to the next step. I'm doing it myself, but watching, because you're expanding, so you feel more ready to take on the next right away. But let me tell you, hold there. Okay, so welcome to Receptive Radio. We're going to be talking about staying with the integration of the expansion you're experiencing. And I go live every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we're about 3 years into this show. And it's something that actually comes into alignment with significant days, significant timelines. And I just keep doing it. I stay consistent with it. And I'm hoping to expand it and expand it and expand it. So if you're watching for the first time, I'm going to put on the banner here. Please like this post, like this podcast live stream, comment on it, tell me what you think, or ask some questions about, I'll be asking questions throughout the episode. So answer those questions in the comments, and then subscribe to this channel and share it with somebody you know who would be benefiting from this. So there we go. Taking stock, basically just doing that right now, is like working with what I already have and nurturing it instead of going to the next thing right away. So that's what I want to talk about today. I'm talking to the established founders right now. So you've already built a brand, you've built your services and your products, and you have launched them and you've had success. And maybe you have even done something you've never done before recently, like becoming an author or hosting a summit like I just did. And you're like, oh, what do I do now? Because those were really big projects. They're really big projects, and they demanded your focus and attention for a specific period of time. For me, for the book, it was like an 18-month project. And the summit was a 1-month project, but I prepared for it for multiple months, 6 months in advance. And now it's like, oh, those are over. Now what do I do? That's where I want to. That's the feeling. If you're in that feeling right now, that's what I want to go into in this episode, because that's where you're being called to integrate the expansion. If you're really good at hosting projects and creating new things, like you're a visionary and you're always getting ideas and inspirations, how many times have you started lots of those things just to be all of a sudden overwhelmed with doing 3 projects at once, and then feeling the pressure of it? And that pressure, instead of helping you to expand more, actually causes you to shrink. I've been there myself, and I'm watching myself right now in this expansion to make sure that I don't do it again. Contraction after expansion can turn into a repeated pattern, and then you just stay where you are. You don't actually up level. You don't nurture what you just created, and you don't grow the seeds that you just planted from what you created. And so I want to go into that deeper. And why don't you integrate? Like, what is the issue there? Why are we not integrating what we create, what the projects that we expand with? Out of habit, out of the pressure from society. Like in the corporate world, I would, tax season would come along every year, and all the pressure would turn on, and you would get all the work done. And then afterwards, you would just go right into the next thing. And you wouldn't really experience or nurture all those clients that you rushed through to get them to a completion line. And so for the summit that I just hosted, it's really important now to nurture the audience that was built, to nurture the clients, the potential clients that are coming in the door, and to sit back and debrief the summit. And for the book, which I just was a #1 bestselling author last Thursday, it happened. And now that book is circulating and is continuing to sell, and it's holding at #1. What do I do with that? Do I say, oh, I'm going to write another book? No, I keep promoting the book. I keep working with the book. I keep inviting the collaborations with the other authors that I created the book with to collaborate and create more beyond what just the book is doing. And so the summit created an audience. The book will create a community and an audience. The summit also created a community. And that's what I want to focus on nurturing now. And if you are experiencing a high level of expansion, where are you noticing that you might be shrinking in overwhelm and the pressure to do the next big thing? And it might feel like you're at a plateau and that you're not having the results that you just like set yourself up for. But that's not true. That's not true. Instant gratification is an addiction, and it's also a distraction because it takes you away from nurturing what you've created, all of those seeds that are actually little plants all ready to be nurtured into big trees that bear fruit. And so when you are expanding your nervous system, your body, your mind, your heart, your energy field, they're also expanding, and you're getting recalibrated. You're getting energetically recalibrated. So it might feel like you're supposed to be still on, like hosting the project that you were just in. And you're having to get used to holding more capacity for receptivity, for receiving. And so holding the capacity for receiving isn't something that we're trained to do by school systems or parents, unless you're really lucky and you had fabulous parents, or you went to some very alternative school where they taught that, or you've been working with mentors like myself who are energetic strategists, who are practicing grounding, who are practicing holding more in your energy field so that you cannot get dysregulated, so that you can expand with freedom and with relaxation. And when you feel this pressure of, oh, what should I be doing? Why am I not experiencing that same high that I just was on? You could bring yourself into doubt, into contraction where you're beating yourself up with negative thought forms and wondering, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? But here's the thing. It is working. It is working. It's just the old program is making you think that it doesn't work because you're just not used to holding this new higher level of expansion and a capacity to receive more. And so you need to practice the integration piece. So I went on a retreat to a luxury resort this weekend, and it was saunas. Had like 7 different saunas. It had pools where you'd walk in it from cold to hot, cold to hot, cold to hot. Had a gym, and it had everybody walked around in their robes in the hallway. And there was nothing going on in my mind. There wasn't a lot going on in my mind. And whenever I was sitting in the sauna, I noticed that, stuff was pouring out of me. Energy was flowing out. Things that I didn't even know I was releasing were releasing. And when I got back, my partner said, wow, you look great. And That's great. That's amazing. Because I didn't realize it, that I was holding things that were, residue from pressure I was holding. And so you need to really relax and step back and let somebody else, mirror back to you that a shift has happened. Because you can go into an expansion, you can go into a big project and not digest that experience, Lots of people, and I've done it myself, will go on a big trip, rush through all of the places to see, and come home exhausted. And this is the same thing with your business. When you're a founder, when you're scaling to the next level, don't rush through every process. Experience every process. Integrate every process. And that integration is various. There's various ways to integrate it. And one of them is by getting quiet, getting silent, listening and to your inner voice, going deep into yourself to debrief what you just accomplished. It's hard to celebrate without integration. It's hard to move forward successfully without integrating the current level you're at. And since I've been expanding multiple things at once here, I am noticing that it is time to just step back from creating more expansion projects and really nurturing what I created so that it can expand as well. And if you don't stabilize your expansion, you run the risk of overcorrecting, over-launching, distorting your revenue, straining relationships, getting grumpy, getting hangry, that kind of thing, right? And shrinking your visibility, because you just built something that has an audience now, and you're not putting yourself out in front of that audience more, like individually, by personally reaching out, by connecting with the warmest people that came towards you and were interested in you. And so if you're like a speaker in a summit and you got leads from that summit, are you reaching out further? Are you taking extra steps? Or are you just going right into the next summit? And so one thing I notice about myself is, and I'm a high achiever, I'm a visionary, I have a business, I have a brand, I've invested heavily on mentorship and coaching, which is all paying off. It's all paying off. But before I go and invest heavily on the next project that I'm going to build, I'm going to invest heavily on nurturing what I just created so that it can grow bigger than I can imagine. And increasing my capacity to hold more. So when a business grows, have you ever been to a restaurant that just opened and you're one of the first customers, you're there on the first opening night, and it's the worst service you've ever gotten? Your food's late. They don't know how to put it all together yet, because they've rushed a launch. And so you might never go back to that restaurant again because they didn't pay attention to you, because they weren't prepared or ready to hold you yet. They had a huge project. They built the restaurant. They created the food, the menu, and all of that. But they weren't really ready to have an opening night or to serve people at full capacity yet. And so it's the same thing. You created something like a launch. Now, step back inside that expansion. It's still an expansion, and nurture the individual expansions. Make sure your attention goes where the warmest leads came, where the flow is flowing, where your intuition is guiding you. Because if you get into overwhelm and overthinking about things, you separate the body from the mind and you disconnect yourself from your intuition. So the practice here is to ask yourself quality questions. It's like, what level did you just unlock? Like, what did you just do for yourself? You unlocked yourself to a whole new audience, people who never have seen you before. And how can I nurture that? And those are the types of questions that you bring to your mentors. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling doubt, if you're feeling like confusion, like, where do I start? Ask yourself, what step can I do now that will just get me started? And then do that step. Don't worry about the next step right away. Just do that step, and then the next step will naturally flow out of it, and you'll actually be faster than you think you are. Because one of the gifts of expansion, because you repeated, you grew, you were practicing, is you actually get better at things. All of your skills come together and converge. And because you are a multidimensional person and you've been around the block and you've had multiple careers, even, and businesses potentially, and brands and services and products, you take all of those skills and you start harnessing the power of all of them. And so when you do stay present inside one step, you can access your mastery. You can access your soul level gifts, and that fear, that little tremble before you step into that step, dissipates fast, because you're like, oh, I know how to do this. And you get going into it. And you get into this excited, high frequency energy, which turns up your radiance, turns up your magnetism. Because capacity is trained. It's a skill. Holding more wealth, more prosperity, more clients in your container, a bigger community to foster and nurture is a skill set. And you train to hold more and more and more. You don't go from, it's just like any corporate job. You don't go from getting out of university to being the CEO. You start at the bottom and you work your way up, and you train your system to hold more capacity, to be knowledgeable in more things, and to be better with the clients. In any career that you've ever had, it's all about customers, service, and clients. It's all about relationships. Even if you're in a tech job, even if you're an engineer, even if you're a landscaper, you are working with people, and people respond to your attention and to your ability to listen and your ability to make them feel good in their own skin, So it's a skill. Holding more people, bigger containers, is capacity, and it's trained, and you have to condition yourself. I talk about horse racing a lot. You don't go from being a brand new racehorse to the open, to the stake races. You train, you practice, you get there with practicing. And that's what I like to create, is practice grounds for people. And it requires discipline, expansion. You need to integrate this expansion that you're experiencing and stay back from that next project that you have waiting in the wings for you. You can still know what it is. I still know what my next step is, but I'm not going there yet, because it's important to nurture all of these little baby plants that have just grown, all of these little baby horses that are ready to learn how to race or run or gallop. You got to stay with them and nurture them. And that nurtures you. That cultivates your capacity. And I am speaking in a summit next week. It's called the Elite Ascension Summit. And if you're an established founder and you're looking for a community of people that are your people, this is a great place to come and be in the room that matches your expansion. And it's not so that you can get more information. It's for more relationships. It's for more connection. And it's for more insight to help you with your expansion. I'll be talking about Activate Your Prosperous Life still. I'm not creating a brand new talk title. I'm going with what I've already created. I'm just leading with what is already created and nurturing that. And my Life Force Starter Kit will be a free resource when you come inside that summit, the Elite Ascension Summit. And you can, that's the practice ground where you learn how to harness the expansion and grow it into bigger capacity, bigger way to hold it. I use my hands a lot and to explain things energetically, because how else do I do it? And I just want to put up the link for that right now. I'll drop it in the comments in the YouTube and in the Facebook group so you can get your free pass. But this is the place for you to ascend. It's called the Elite Ascension Summit. While you're ascending or expanding, you want to be nurturing yourself. So what can you do to keep working what you've already grown before you take that next big leap into the next launch, the next summit, the next book that you're going to write? How can you nurture what you're already creating? Because there's so much available in what you've already created. And I just want to say this one more time before we end here. If you rush to the next step, you're not going to realize what you've already created and capitalize on that and grow prosperous from it. So I'll see you at the Elite Ascension Summit, and I'll see you next week at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Receptive Radio. Have a great week.